All right, welcome to our It's a Tech Tip webinar for today. Today we are talking about going beyond the hour of code, making computer science accessible with code.org. And we have Miss Julie Rivas who will tell us all about that. Take it over, Miss Julie.
Okie dokie. Let me get my screen up. So yes, we are going to be looking at code.org. And code.org is a resource that we have been using for quite a few years, but we have never fully integrated into our lessons or activities. We've kind of hosted Hour of Codes in the past and suggested that it be used in our intersession classes and our summer school enrichment. We've used it in those cases as well as some other, um, I guess it's different sessions that we've held for girls who can code and things like that. We've used this resource before. But the reasons why we want to make sure that we introduce coding to our students is because we want to make sure that they are prepared for the future. So there are many, many different careers that incorporate computer science and coding and in some form or fashion, and many that we don't even think about. And so we want to make sure that our students are exposed to that so that they have better problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, are able to use their creativity well, and it also promotes different um, things that we already have going in the district, for example, digital citizenship. So many of the different lessons that are our introduction lessons for our elementary grades incorporate our digital citizenship curriculum that we're already using at the start of the school year. We also want to make sure that we are exposing our students to coding through all the different subject areas. So you're going to notice here when we get a chance to look at the library resources that there's lessons that are tied to art, to music, to math, to science. There are unplugged activities that make you dance or make you move. So you have that connection to physical activity as well. And we want to make sure that our students are equally exposed to this. So if you're exposing all of your students to this, and if we do get this going district-wide, we're giving all of our students an even playing field so that they all have the chance and opportunity to learn more about computer science. One of the differences this year is that we are a code.org district now. So with that, that means that we can promote it a little bit more district-wide. There are 4 of us in the district that are now code.org coaches. So if you would like some coaching or some suggestions on how to use the program in your school, in your enrichment, integrated into your curriculum, there are 4 of us on the team that are code.org coaches. And that would be myself, Karen Balbier, Arcia Guiña, and Justin Yepes. All of the instructional technology specialists are available to help support, but they can also ask and come to us if they have any additional questions. And we can also reach out to our contacts as well at code.org. And so some of the reasons why we want to use code.org is because they provide free curriculum for kinder through 12th grade. So all of them are going to be standards aligned to the National Computer Science Standards. And since those standards are also tied to the I.S.D standards, you are going to see alignment for us as well for our technology application TEKS that focus on computational thinking. We also do have the teacher-friendly tools where you can go in and monitor your students' progress, be able to preview what they have put in for their solutions for the coding puzzles that they've been given. The lessons are engaging for the students. They do work through little games or activities, and they also have career connection videos where the introductions usually are done by a person who works in the field that they're promoting. So if you are looking at a software engineer, you're looking at software engineers that may work for Google, may work for Amazon. There may be some that are also music engineers that do incorporate coding into what they do for their jobs. And so students are exposed through those videos to some of those careers, and they also get some of the vocabulary and learn what the names are of those jobs so they can actually seek out information about them as well. So one of the first things that we would like you to do is you can go ahead and go to www.code.org and we would like you to create an account. When you go to code.org, on the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the button that says Create Account. When you create your account, you want to make sure that you are signing up as a teacher. And you can use either your Microsoft or your Google credentials because they're both the exact same username and password. So it doesn't matter which one you use, both of them will allow you to sync up to your account, and then you'll be able to get into all the resources that are available to you on code.org. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes, not a few minutes, but a few seconds to go ahead and do that. And once you are into your account, you're going to see a toolbar up on the top, and you're going to see a few links. One is going to take you to your dashboard that has the courses that you have either currently going through code.org or you have synced, and we'll talk about syncing here in a little bit. You have your course catalog, which is what we're going to be looking at next. If there's any projects that you're currently working on, if you're doing any professional learning, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the incubator is, but that's going to be something on my to learn list. So we are going to be taking a peek at the course catalog. When it opens up to the course catalog, know that again, this is going to be a full curriculum, no matter what grade level you're at, kinder, sixth grade, high school, any of those grade levels, kinder through 12th, you're going to have full curriculum available to you on the curriculum catalog. You're going to see at the very top, the very first thing you have access to are going to be the filters where you can separate out activities by grade, by their length. So know that the shortest lesson, I believe, is about 45 minutes. I don't think there's one less than 45. 45 minutes is the shortest, and then they go into a whole school year's worth of curriculum depending upon the topic that's available. So you have your duration, you have your topics, and again, remember I said they range from math integration to web design to art. There's a dance lesson in here. There's app design lessons. So depending on what you're looking for and what grade level you teach, you're going to have different topics that are available to your students. It also lets you filter by the device type for your students and by the curriculum. So know that again that there are different curriculum units. You can choose to do individual lessons or you can choose to do a full curriculum. For elementary, the elementary lessons, if I click on computer science fundamentals, these are going to be your elementary lessons. So you have courses A through F. A through F go with each of the individual grade levels. So course A is kinder, course F is going to be the one recommended for fifth grade. And you're going to notice that all of these, for the most part, except for I think it's first, second, and third, or sorry, kinder first and second. Kinder first and second are month long, and third, fourth, and fifth are going to be quarter long. Ms. Lozano, since you said you're in fifth grade, I'm going to go ahead and use that course F as our example. So again, you're going to see that it's duration of a quarter, and I'm going to click on quick view so we can take a look at what this entails. So the first thing you're going to notice, it's going to bring up an introduction video to that fundamentals course. It's going to pop up automatically. You can choose to watch it or not. And then you're going to see all the different resources that are available within this particular unit. So if you want to view everything that's there, you're going to go into curriculum details. And once that opens up, you're going to see it broken down to each of the different lessons that are there. Every single lesson is going to be independent. So when this is open down, it's going to have all the details there. This particular one does have an unplugged activity. That means that your students are not logging into code.org and they're not completing anything from their accounts. They will actually do the activity with you. And all of the resources that are available for that lesson are going to be underneath the lesson plan. So you're going to see that every single one of these has a lesson plan that goes with it. And remember, this is a quarter long unit. So you're going to have quite a few lesson plans that are in there. And so one of the things I do want to show you, and I know Jesus asked about it in the other sections. So since I'm already here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this now. So let's say that you only have a certain amount of time to dedicate to integrating the computer science, either in a specific subject area, or if you wanted to do it for enrichment or during your win time. You only have 45 minutes a week to integrate it. If you go into view calendar on any of these lessons, if it's a lengthy unit, you'll see the view calendar option at the top. When you go into view calendar, you're going to see it's going to tell you how many minutes you have available. Obviously, we do not have 225 minutes per week, so we're going to change our option to 45. So if I wanted to break down this whole curriculum into 45 minutes per week, it's going to tell me which of those lessons I can complete during that 45 minutes. So you're going to see some of them kind of overlap from one week to the next. Some of them may not, but as I continue to scroll, it's going to take me 24 weeks with only 45 minutes a week to complete that whole curriculum piece. So what was a quarter is now separated out into 24 weeks. So I know exactly how long I have. You're also going to notice at the bottom, it tells you what kind of activity it is. You've got an instructional lesson, so that means it's going to have some activities where you might have to introduce vocabulary, but your students are going to be online interacting with that activity. If you see the scissors, it's going to be an unplugged lesson that's going to be led by you, but there also might be some worksheets or different activities that the students will complete that don't have to do anything with the computer. So they don't have to be online to complete those activities with you. So it's going to be designated with that key down at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and open up a lesson. I'm not going to do the Common Sense Media ones because that's going to look a little bit different than the actual lessons that the students will do online. So I'm going to click on the lesson plan for this Sprites activity just to kind of give you a preview of what that looks like. For your lesson, the introduction, this one in particular, it tells you it's 45 minutes long. It's going to give you an overview, your objectives, and any preparation that you need to do beforehand. So for a lot of these activities, it is going to have you or recommend that you go through the activity as if you were a student so you understand what the students will be working through. And so it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. If you need to print anything out, it's going to have all of that breakdown of the things you'll need before you introduce that lesson. You're going to see that there are the standards that are listed that again are aligned to the national standards for computer science, but our technology application teaks are pretty much aligned to those computer science standards as well. You're going to have links for your breakdown of the lesson. And as you go through, it's going to give you step by step what you might want to ask, what you'll need to show your students, if they need to talk and reflect on a question that you give them. It's going to tell you how to approach that. And you're also going to see that if there's any vocabulary associated with it, it's going to list that. And in this case, it does tell you that there are slides that have this information. So many of them do also have slide decks that you can use to help introduce those activities to your students. It has teaching tips and then breaks down all of those different pieces. If there's a video, so again, remember at the beginning, I mentioned that there are career connection videos. In these videos, this is where it'll introduce the Sprite Lab. It'll have somebody explaining what their job is and how it connects to the beginning of that activity. So that video can be watched whole group and led by you, or it is also going to be available as the first activity for the students in the lessons as well. There may be additional videos depending on the lesson to kind of stop and do a checkpoint or stop or introduce another concept to your students at different points of the lessons as well. So you might see other links to videos. But this is pretty much what the unit looks like or what the lesson looks like for this particular activity. And it's even going to have a reflection. And if there's any extensions, those extensions are going to be listed down at the bottom too. Some of them have particular ties to language arts, or it might have a tie to reading, or it might have a tie directly to science. So you'll have to look for those different extension activities down at the bottom of the lesson. Do you have any questions at all for the lessons and the course catalog?
Not so far, she says. I didn't notice, Julie, that they even have a printing option. I like that.
Oh, yes.
Nice. I like that. And the handouts as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be printing out that packet of stuff that you might need for that activity. So, and then this is the drop down for the other activities within that same unit. Okay. So how do your students get in? How do you get in? So I'm going to go back over here so we can take a peek at that. So once you've created your account as a teacher and kind of previewed the courses and kind of decided what you would like to potentially try with your students, you do want to make sure that you are syncing your account within Schoology. So we do not have existing accounts in co.org. So the way that we want to sync everything up as a teacher, you can go and create your account on your own from co.org. That's perfectly fine. For the integration and having our students use it, you do need to sync. So you have a class that is built off of a section that you already have in Schoology. So in this case, I have my co.org course, and then on the left-hand side in every single Schoology course, you have a list of resources and tools that are there. And in that list, you're going to see one for co.org. So as a teacher, you will want to click on that. It's going to take you to this page. So you'll continue with co.org. And since you already have an account, you're going to click on the right-hand side that you have an existing account. And if you still have the tab open from your co.org, most likely when you click on that purple button, it's going to push you straight through to co.org and sync your account. And so when you do that, it's going to tell you that your section has now sunk to co.org. It's going to tell you the name of your section. So this is my course in Schoology co.org sample course. It's going to give your name as the teacher. And if I have students already enrolled, it's going to show them. And if I have multiple teachers in the course, it's going to add them as well. And so they will have the same view as I do and see the same progress for all of the students. And we can both kind of monitor to see the progress of our kiddos in co.org. And so as long as everything is synced, you will see and be able to assign anything from co.org to your student. One of the main things I do want to point out here is that we do not want to turn off the roster sync. If you get new students and you have that roster sync off, it's not going to auto enroll them when they sync up themselves as well. It's not going to make that connection so that they become a member of your course in co.org. Your students will need to do something very similar. So on the student end, they're going to do the same steps that you did. They're going to go in, look on that left-hand side, click on co.org, click on continue to co.org, and then instead of doing an existing, they're going to go to the left-hand side and click I am new. This is going to make that connection for their account. So they're not signing in to co.org directly. They're not making an account on co.org directly. They're going through Schoology to initiate the connection for their account. So they're going to click on continueco.org under I am new. The only things that it should ask are going to be their age and their state. Those are the two mandatory things. Now, I have seen where there's an additional line as a student that it may ask for their name. I didn't see it come up when we tested our sample students today. It didn't come up to ask for a name, but with real kiddos at the start of the school year, it did ask them for their name. We need to make sure that if our students see that they put their given first name and last name, because when you see them in your roster in co.org, that is going to be the name that you see. And so if they put a nickname or if they make up a name, it's going to be really hard to identify who they are. without having that information. And the reason I know this too is that we went through this process with our librarians, and some of them did not put their real name. And so I kind of had to figure out who they all were as well. So please make sure that if you do happen to see that when your students sync up, that they do put their first and last name and not a nickname in that space. And
Julie, I
so
have a
once
question
they,
on that.
sure,
It might happen, obviously. Is there a way for them in their profile to change it?
I'm not sure where a student might change it, but I believe from your roster, you can kick a student out and maybe you can sync them back in.
Okay, so yeah,
That would be something to kind of test out, is to remove a student and then have them re-add themselves.
perfect. Okay, thanks.
So once a student is in, remember it's kind of like using ClassLink. You know how ClassLink holds the shortcuts to take you into a program. In this case, Schoology is kind of functioning as our ClassLink. Schoology is going to be the route that the students use to get to co.org. And so once they are in and everything is synced together, they are going to see the courses that they have been assigned. And so in this case, our sample student, I assigned AI for oceans to them, but Jesus also has this same student. And so they assigned them to course A. So on the student end for their classroom section, they see both of the teachers. So if your students are departmentalized, if you happen to have two teachers, depending on if you're elementary, you might be departmentalized or you might be in dual and you have two sets of classes or two teachers. Middle school and high school, they all have, 7, 8, 9 different teachers depending on what classes they're taking. They can be in multiple classrooms. The only thing you might want to consider is that you don't want to have any overlap of lessons. So if you are doing multiple classes with multiple teachers on your campus, or if your librarian is integrating co.org, you might want to collaborate with them to make sure you're not overlapping any activities, and especially if you're doing a full long unit. So that would kind of defeat the purpose if both of you are trying to do the same thing at the same time. It's not going to really work out. But if your librarian, for example, is integrating an activity only during computer science week, they're only doing an hour of code lesson with your students, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Or vice versa, maybe they are running a club or an activity where they're doing a full unit and you want to integrate specific activities, just as long as there's not an overlap of those lessons amongst the kids that you all share. So again, that's going to be the student view. So let me go back to our dashboard. So I'm back on co.org. I'm going to go to the dashboard. And so this is what I see as a teacher. Under class sections for me, these are all of my Schoology courses that I've sunk or synced up together in co.org. And so in this space, you're going to see I can assign a course to the student. This one, I've already assigned multiple things to them. But if I wanted to go in and add more items or add more lessons to that particular course, it would be going into that course catalog. So when I go into the course catalog, underneath any of the activities, I'm going to see this purple assign button. So if I wanted to assign this AI machine learning to my courses, I can click on assign, and it's going to display all of the sections that I have my students in. So if I am a middle school or high school teacher and I have multiple sections of Algebra 2 or something like that, I can have all my sections there and I can assign the same lesson to every single one of my classes at the same time. If you want to compare it, it's like using rooms and sending the same message out to all of your classes at the same time. So I only want to assign this to my co.org class. So I just check off where I want it to go. I confirm my section. And so now when I go back to my dashboard and go to view progress, I can see that I have my 3 students that are in my course, and I can also see the lessons that they're currently in. So this is my AI machine learning that I just assigned. I also assigned, I guess, the CS discoveries. I assigned a whole bunch of different things to them. There's the course A. So I wanted to see the progress in course A. This is what my progress looks like. And keep in mind, these are our demo students, so we don't have any data for them. They haven't gone through and completed anything. But once our students go in and complete, they're going to have little green circles, either filled or just an outline depending on what the activity type is. And if I wanted to expand, this will bump out into the sub lessons and I can see exactly what they've completed. If they've completed anything that involves coding, I can click on the little circle and it's going to take me directly to where they worked on their activity, and I can see what their solution was for their coding activity. So I can kind of keep up and see and compare to my students. Maybe somebody solved it a little bit different than somebody else, but they still got to the success at the end. So I can keep track of all of this. And once I get to the end, or students get to the end, it does generate a certificate for them to show that they've completed that particular set of activity. Was there something else that I showed here on the other one and I'm forgetting?
No, but I did have a question, I guess, now that I'm
Okay.
seeing this. Does this sync up in any way with Schoology Gradebook?
No, no, it does not, unfortunately. Yeah, so there's no grades. For these, it's just like a pass. And there's not really a fail. Yeah, there's not really a pass or fail on here. It's just going to show the completion. If the student doesn't have success the first time, it's going to have them go back and retry again until they get to the next level. So the completion and the progress is going to show just with those little green indicators on each of the lessons.
And I like that it has a download option even for the, I guess in this case, the progress,
Yeah,
which
so
I'm
it's going to
guessing would
open
be
an
like an
Excel.
Excel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to open an Excel file. Okay. So the very last thing that I was going to share was that if you wanted to extend your learning, if you want to go into the professional learning tab inside co.org, you can join an introduction to computer science course. About halfway down on that professional learning page, you'll see this join a section, and you'll see this little grayed out box. If you click inside that box, you can enter this code FFQWYM, and it's going to enroll you into that Introduction to Computer Science course. And I believe there's also a creativity unit that's part of that as well. It's going to give you a better idea of what those activities look like that your students will be introduced to. It's also going to give you some vocabulary that's super important to know as I guess, a newbie to computer science. And if you do go ahead and go through this unit, you will also receive 2 hours of additional CPE credit as well. So it's good to go through that because it's going to give you the information you'll need to kind of get you started, and you'll understand a little bit more of how the whole co.org is kind of set up and how it runs. Um, you don't have to be an expert to introduce computer science to your students. Much of this is going to be independent. And like I said, there are the fully scripted lesson plans. There's resources to print out. Um, but if you are a little hesitant to introduce it, I think this course will kind of help you, and you'll have fun doing it too, because the activities are a lot of fun.
Anything else you want to add, Miss Julie?
I think that's it. Are there any other questions?
Okay. No, I'm okay. I want to play around with it and just see what I can gain for the students, definitely for enrichment. So thank you.
We've gone ahead and dropped in a couple of links in there. We have our I.T.S website link. That's where we're going to host the recording of this webinar. That'll probably be live on Monday, so just give us some time for that, and definitely share that with the rest of your campus. We do have our course catalog, which is where you can find links to these webinars, the rest of the webinars, and also to other online courses that we have that you may want to participate in. Those are 24/7. You can take those and complete them. As long as you complete them by the end of the school year, you will receive CPE credit as well. And obviously our attendance and survey link so that we can give you credit for attending, and so you can let us know how we did today.